this is just a short video, hopefully it's short, on flat planar box type objects and the struggles that you can have trying to print them. I'll just show you an example. I hope this user doesn't mind me showing a display of his parts. So this is a box that was printed and is struggling with warping and some kind of separation issues. If I just go back, I think there's an issue in a couple of areas, but one of them is that his bottom layers are only lifting 2 millimeters up, so he could have increased that. But I'll show you how I do it in Chitubox 1.9.3. I'll just minimize that, bring that up, and I've got these three pieces that I've taken out of Thingiverse, and oh, that part's a lot smaller than I thought it'd be. Oh, that must be just to clamp something. So I can just bring up the Thingiverse file. Can I? Yes, I can. Thingiverse file. It's this one here under this user, and here we go. So just coming back to it. So I'm just using for display Mega 8K build plate, but you know, it could be on any printer as long as you can fit it. So that's moved everything as a singular. Okay. This one here, I think I'll just delete this little thing. Not too bothered with that. So here's a large box, and you really want the top of the box to be quite neat. It's got some sort of pattern on it, and sitting flat on the build plate at the moment. It's got a few plug holes, things like that. Now what I do for the supports is, first of all, I do some rotations, and the rotations I do are 30 degrees. Just take that up to 30. Just type there 30. Yep. And in the X, I do, that's not right, I do 30 as well. Okay, so what that's done instantly is put it up to an angle. Actually, I don't need it up that much on that in that direction. Let me just rotate a little bit, and just slightly less than. It's an effective. What is it at this? Let me just line it up. So when it lines up square to a face, that should be more than 30, and it is when you do 30-30. And what that does is, when I put the supports in, actually before I do supports, I need to go in here, and because this thing is going to produce a suction cup shape, it's going to cause peel problems. Not many, there's only a little one there before that sidewall opens up, and there's some blind holes that are going through the base. So I think those blind holes probably wouldn't be a problem. I'll show you how they're fixed anyway. Let me go here and dig a hole. So a little blind hole like that can actually be repaired. Dig a hole continuously, not true to the screen, I want it true to the model. Add the hole. So I can put a hole in there, and in there, and in there, there, oops, come on, there, okay, oh, there's another two here, so there's there, there's there, and when I scroll down the screen by moving this bar here, this one has a side plug over here, but normally if that was a solid wall, through here, this would be a big suction cup area, and so I would have to put right down in the corner wherever I can get it, closest to the very first layers to build. I do this, I'll just show you what that looks like. So see, this void starts just at this point. I didn't get it right in the corner, but that's close enough to allow that suction some relief. So there's another one just starting over here as well. So that void gets a 1.5mm hole. And a 1.5mm hole can be repaired with a single drop of resin. So once this is all done, if you need to make it watertight, you just put a single drop on it, and hopefully it doesn't bleed through and make any other mess. It'll just fill up that area. So let me just go through here, making sure that I'm not producing any major suction cup. There's that big hole through that side wall, recall. So any other suction cups that form. Nope, that's good. Now I can go over to my supports, and I'm going to do some heavy, some medium and some light. And I've got heavy set here. Mouse is playing up. 5mm off the plate. I'm going to set on the bottom. I'm going to do skates. 14mm, yeah, that'll do for the big ones. No raft. And my middle size 2.5, I don't need it that big. And the top contact diameter 0.8. Yes, I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to use the spheres. Or should I use the spheres? Yes, I'll use the spheres. Come on, contact sphere. A plus. There. So what the sphere does is it puts a ball on there, then the ball is something you can sand back afterwards. And I'll just have a look how far. The contact depth is only 0.4. I'm going to dig that into it. Oops, we're going to put that in. 1.2. And there, it's just beyond halfway in. That's good. Now I can use the auto as long as I drop my density and I increase this width here, and I'll show you what that does in a minute. Now I'm just going to go platform because this is not a hollow part, and a couple of seconds it'll calculate. So what that's done, that 30mm dimension there has allowed these big cross members to come across, and the contact spheres are inside the model. So even though this has a really big contact point, when you have an artificial break point that this makes, they'll break off proud, and so you just sand those nubs back to flat, and that way you get away with doing much bigger supports with quite strong structures, and then all you've got to do is come back and do the occasional other ones. So an area that on this particular build, there's two places that I would add. One of them is the very start, so I'm going here. Now I'm going to add some mediums. The mediums, I don't have the contact spheres, I don't think. I'm going to go plus. Let's have a look what that looks like. That looks weird, I've said something wrong. Lower diameter should be, let's make that 0.6. Hang on, what have I got? Upper diameter 0.6. Lower diameter 1.5. Got that around the wrong way. Yeah, that's better. So, see this black line? This is a single support, and it's a single support until the part gets all the way up and contacts another one way up here. That's quite a big triangle to try and build without extras. So I put one there, another one there, and probably another one over here. Now the occasional ones up the wall, I'm going to just put don't really feel like sanding that outer face, so I might just shift, so modify, I'll just shift the contact points of these. Just shift them in. I see it hasn't retained the sphere at this point. Yeah, okay, so if I shift it to heavy, it retains the contact point. I don't feel like sanding that front face, so I'll just back them off a little. This one's decided to disconnect. That's okay. Oops, escape. Okay. Is that still connected? Yep. These little ones are called buttress, they give it a bit more strength. And that should build okay. The start corner's good. I'm going to move these ones as well. So this, having 30 degrees, generally produces a better underneath face as well as all the rest. And by building in the first corner, I'll just show you, by starting in one corner like this, it's not trying to build an entire sliver all across one side. So if you just square it up to if you only angle it in one direction, you get a single sliver all the way across that you're trying to print from. That doesn't really like that. So we've got an extra, looking from below now, when I look up, we have some extra red bit just here. So for there I'll put medium, I'll put just across it. It does print plus. Huge. Let's go light 0.6. That's huge too. What if I set this to upper diameter 0.6, 0.3, lower diameter 1.5. I must have done a really huge model last. Another one over the top here, and with a bit of luck these ones will snap with small size supports, and I'll just use extra ones. This one's going on the outside, that's okay. They look huge on the model, but the model's quite small and thin, so let's have a look how they look from a distance. Fine, no problem. I think that's ready to print. So you don't need to cover the back face completely because of all these structures here giving it stability. You can add stability to it if you need. You can put, let's go medium, let's add a stability here, modify and shift those two to occupy the same space. What that does is give it a bit more structure, which matters up high. So just getting a bit more strength there. plus, modify, stretch out those buttress ones I just added. So I added the support to a support so that it doesn't affect the model. What it does is it stabilises the up high supports to give it strength for the finishing job. Okay, so I've got now back to the main model. I've got another part sitting over here, and I want to print this one basically what it is now, so that the supports are on the underneath. It's got pretty good ventilation already. Actually, I just did the wrong thing. I have to tilt this one as well, so let's move this across. Let's bring this one, let's rotate it. I'll go 30, and I'll go 30, done. Okay, and we will just go, why don't I just do medium? Since this thing is not carrying a lot of weight and having a lot of suction forces, I'll do the whole thing in mediums. I set my density to maybe 30%. That'll give me more of them. I've still got the cross width 30 and the top. My contact point is 0.8. Let's go 0.6. Don't need it that big. The diameter is 2 millimeters. The upper diameter, I'll drop that down to 1.5, and it's 5 mil long. Okay, let's try that. So we're a plus platform. That should lift it up 5 mil. Put it on skates. So that density is a little bit light on. I'm going to add some more, so I'll just go remove all. Do I want to remove all? Yes. So I'll up that density to 40. I'll make it 45, why not? And we'll go plus platform. I can live with that. They're all along the outside edge. If I was being fussy, I would tuck them underneath by moving them. But I can live with that. Now let's just double check the start. So the start, see, it's got to go that much before it starts to, there's no real suction cup going on this job, but what I will do is add a couple more on this under edge. Now because this is a box, you'd probably shift things to certain areas to get a more control of the print itself. So let's look from underneath. I can look straight from the bottom. So I don't have any red sections here, so it's not telling me that A, you missed a spot where to put a support, but I will put one just at the end of where these holes are being built. So they're being built, sorry, this is my start corner, they're being built this way, so I'll just put one there, just to give it stability. There's one on the other one already. Select both, and let's just run through. This one is building in 2 halves for quite some time before it starts to march up and build a window that is being joined. So this is a join point right here. I might just go and put another one right at the join point. Yep. So zoom that up. I'll show you where those join points are. So there's one there. I'm going to go to supports. I hope this doesn't mess it up. So I'm going to go plus a medium. I'm going to put a join point there. What this does is anything that's building as 2 separate parts where they join, if you put a couple of extra supports, they won't get a mismatch. They often get a mismatch there from shrinkage or whatever, and what that causes is a line right across your model. And so if you stabilize a join like this, run right in there, you'll have less chance of that happening. So let's just move that out. Move that in. Yep. So if you look from above, this is effectively building a compound angle on the model. So if your printer has anti-aliasing, which a lot of them do, get it going, because this will, I'll just zip over to settings. Anti-aliasing is in the advanced section. So I've got on the Mega, I've got anti-aliasing 2, grey level 2, image blur 2. Anti-aliasing is something you tune from the bottom and gradually increase upwards. You never turn it all to 11. You never go to the maximum on these values, because that is worse than having none at all. So you just creep up on it, so a little bit of this, a little bit of that, until you've got it right. And I'll just show you my print settings. This is a Mega, so it's a little bit overexposed for the resin, and a little bit of delay. Got quite a big peel height. This one doesn't have the TSMC settings in it. I'm not too worried. I won't explain that now. Okay, that's about it. I would print that.